Hi, this is Lekgabo, the Moneystical nerd. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been doing well financially, paying your debt on time, only for one unexpected expense to completely throw you off? A car breakdown, a plumbing emergency, or an insurance excess you didn't plan for. Suddenly, you're back to using your credit card or an overdraft again. And that's exactly why many people struggle to get out of debt. Not because they don't earn enough, but because they're not prepared for emergencies. In the previous video, we spoke about setting up your household fund. Today, we are going to build on that foundation by setting up your operational fund and understanding how it works with your core emergency fund. For an emergency fund to truly work, you need 3 hawk funds: your household fund, your operational fund, and your core emergency fund. Let's break this down step by step. An operational fund is money set aside specifically for unexpected non-household expenses. These are expenses that don't happen every month, and they're not part of your normal budget. But when they happen, they need to be paid immediately. Examples of these include a burst tire on your way to work, hitting a pothole while you're driving, emergency plumbing or electrical repairs, and that insurance excess payment after you had an accident, God forbid. Now, here is a key point. Your operational fund should be immediately accessible. The operational fund should be in a separate interest-bearing account that you can reach instantly for you to cover urgent costs without delay and avoiding any more debt. Without the operational fund, most people turn to credit cards and overdrafts. But with the operational fund that is fast and ready, you stay in control because you won't go back to debt. Let's look at why is the operational fund very important for debt repayment. So, every time you use your credit card for an emergency, you delay your debt-free journey because the interest compounds and the minimum payment increases. And the financial stress builds up as well. So, the operational fund acts as a buffer. It absorbs the financial shocks so that your debt repayment plan stays intact. That's how this fund helps you to pay debt faster, not slower. But also, after you have paid your debt, it helps you to maneuver, invest, and save your money much more easier. Now, let's look at how much should be your operational fund. Your operational fund, ideally, should be at least 80% of your monthly net salary. Let's make this practical. If you earn a net salary of 10,000, you will therefore save 8,000 as an 80% of your net salary. If, for instance, you earn a net salary of 20,000, you would therefore save 16,000 as your operational fund because it's 80% of your net salary. This money should be kept in a separate interest-bearing savings account, not your main account, because if it's there, then you will eat it. And remember, it must be immediately accessible. Because interest is great, but if you can't get the money in few hours, then it's not doing its job as an operational fund for those emergencies. Now, one might be wondering and asking, what if the expense of that emergency is bigger than the fund? Well, that happens. Sometimes emergencies are expensive. Here's how you will handle it. You always use your operational fund first. If that's not enough, you then take the balance from your core emergency fund. And in the next video, we will speak about the core emergency fund, and I will explain that to you, what is it and how it should be set up. Let's look at an example. For example, if you earn a net salary of 10,000 and your operational fund is 8,000, which is 80% of the 10,000, your drainage pipe bursts and the repair costs 12,000. You will therefore pay 8,000 from your operational fund, and the remaining 4,000 you'll pay it from your core emergency fund. This works because your operational fund is available immediately, while your core emergency fund can be available in the same day or in few hours, but your operational fund should be available immediately. There are common mistakes that you need to avoid with the operational fund, and these mistakes are mistakes that many people struggle with because of poor discipline. Here are 3 mistakes that you need to avoid. Firstly, using the operational fund for non-emergencies. If you can wait, then it's not an emergency. Secondly, not replenishing the fund after using it. Every time you use it, your next goal is to refill the fund. Because if you don't, then you will end up going back to debt again. The third one is mixing your fund. Now, each fund has its own job. When you start mixing them, then you will lose control because you will get confused yourself. And you end up then digging into those funds and not being able to replenish them or to rebuild them again. Let's just look at the benefit. What will be the benefit of this operational fund that we're speaking about? Well, the operational fund protects your core emergency fund or your core emergency savings that we will speak about in the next video. But it also prevents you from getting another debt or other new debt, and it also reduces financial stress. If you are still paying your debt, this fund keeps you in check and keeps your debt repayment on track because you would not be going back and forth on paying your credit card because you have utilized that credit card before. But most importantly, the operational fund gives you a peace of mind. Now, in ending, building wealth isn't about avoiding emergencies. It's definitely not about avoiding emergencies. It's about being prepared for those emergencies. In the next video, I'll show you exactly how to build your core emergency fund and how big that emergency fund should be. Remember, this content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial advisor before making any financial decisions. This is Lekgabo, your monistical nerd, making money and sense not mysterious. Thank you.